everyone. My name is Afifa Alawi. With me is Chad Harris and Roger Strang. We are the instructional designers at the ATS. And today I'm going to be hosting the Feedback Friday Forum. And all three of us will be here to answer your questions. I will start with our agenda today. I will provide a little bit of update for the Canvas, the changes. Then I will provide a few announcements, and today we will provide some resources on how you can get help. And at the same time, I want to make sure that everybody is in the session. And obviously, we're going to be hosting the feedback forum session. So I will try to make it as quick as possible so we can answer all your questions. For updates, in terms of the Canvas migration, Winter 22, Fall 2021, and Spring 2022 courses have been migrated successfully from Beachboard to Canvas. So you should be able to see your Fall 2021, Winter 2022, and Spring 2022 courses in Canvas. The CPS courses are in progress, so they haven't been fully migrated from Beachboard to Canvas yet. Summer 2021 courses are also in queue. The migration haven't started yet, and summer 2021 courses are in queue, and summer 2022 courses migration is expected to start in the September of 2022, so in a few days. Some announcements. Teaching in Canvas is obviously optional. If you don't feel like you're ready to teach in Canvas, feel free to just stay away from Canvas at the moment, not to teach in it, because the full transition is not going to happen until the summer of 2023. But by summer of 2023, there will not be an option. Beachboard will not be an option as LMS in our campus at CSULB. So please make sure we are offering tons of trainings throughout the fall semester. Please make sure to attend our trainings and make sure to make yourself familiarized with Canvas, because starting summer of 2023, Beachboard will not be an option as LMS. For the Canvas course types, by default, you should have a sandbox. So sandboxes are automatically created for faculty. However, for the staff, the sandboxes are not created automatically yet. But if you request, we can create a sandbox for the staff member. We can also create development shells for you, but please make sure to request a development shell if you feel you need a development shell. To request a migration, migrating a course before the spring of 2021, please fill out the request form, and we will provide those links for you later today. So we have these links, and we will provide these links in the chat for you. Okay. So I know that some of you have already been teaching in Canvas, and we want to know how is the transition so far, which tools and features you would like to see and use, and are there any tips you would like to share with other faculty? So I'm going to stop. I spoke too much already, and I would just open it for you guys if you want to ask, like if you have a question, if you want to share your experience, feel free. Hey, Paul. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free, go ahead and mute, or if you feel like, if you want to raise your hand, go ahead. I see a classmate of mine, Javier San Diego. Do you remember me? We had a class, we had so many classes in the E-Tech program. Javier?
Yes, I do. Yes. Thank you for having this feedback forum for us.
Sure. If you have any questions, feel free. You can type your questions in the chat, or you can just, yes, let me see, someone raised, yes, Dr. Shariat.
Hi, I was wondering what's going to happen to the organizations which are on the beach board. We have many organizations which at this time are on beach board. Are they going to migrate them to Canvas, or are they going to stay there?
No, we are going to migrate the organizations as well. We already have migrated some, but so we have a request form for migration, and but all the for organizations, I mean, all the organizations are going to move to Canvas as well.
Okay, and I have one question. Right now, I'm seeing you guys through my telephone, but on my computer, when I give the ID number and the passcode code, it says it's the wrong passcode for the meeting.
For today's session?
What? For today's section, yeah.
Okay, let me see. I'm actually sharing today's session with you all. The entire, let me see. So today is feedback forum session 2. So this is the ID 870562. Let me share this in the
870562.
3.
2 or 3.
So 562 33 841. And the passcode is 856057.
Could you put it in the chat?
Sure.
I just want to see what's going on.
So here's the ID, and here's the passcode. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, just real quickly, Afifa, I'm posting the link for the request form for manual org migration.
Okay, thanks,
If you have a manual org that is in Beachboard, this link is the form to request either a migrated manual organization or for us to create one for you.
Sounds great, thanks. Daniel, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to, so thanks, Chad, for actually posting that. So manual organizations, just to clarify, that's all on a request basis. So go ahead and fill out that link and submit it to us, and we'll review the manual org, and we'll see what the best way of actually migrating that over into Canvas is. In terms of automatic organizations, so those are things like college organizations, for example, or anything that automatically enrolls students into the org. We have the shells currently prepped in Canvas for it. But if anyone needs to have that copied over, go ahead and email the Canvas inbox and just say, you know, hey, this department one, I'd like imported into Canvas, and we can go ahead and do that for you. So.
Thanks, Daniel. Emily, do you have a question?
I do. Is there going to be a workshop on Poll Everywhere? That's something I'm hoping to use in my class, the polling option in Canvas. And it's a little bit tricky to use and try to figure out how to integrate it in. Is there going to be something on how to use that at some point?
Yeah, since we are focusing on Canvas workshops, we are not offering any. I can check. Let me actually. I have, yeah, everything is so far, like this semester, we are going to be offering mostly we only have Canvas.
Okay.
So, but if you want to have like to get more familiarized with Poll Everywhere, we have a web page,
Okay.
and also we have like recordings of past trainings. So feel free to watch. Yeah, there was a, like, I don't know if it was on my end or the audio got sound kind of weird.
Thank you.
No problem.
I just posted the link for our Poll Everywhere site.
Thanks, Chad.
Sure.
Okay, let me stop sharing my screen actually.
Hey, Afifa.
Yes.
I found something interesting that I wonder if you guys can help me with.
Uh-huh.
I copied a course over from another course, and within it, it had modules that are all there, but they weren't published. So then when I went to choose the publish at the top, it automatically published all of them. And so then I had to go through and individually unpublish the ones that I didn't want showing yet. Is there any other way to do that, or?
No, actually, yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Paul, for bringing that up. So, and I was working on something. So, for example, if week 2, for example, if it is unpublished, all these items which are within week 2, students
I
will
don't
not
see your
have
screen.
access to these. Yes,
Are
but
you
as
sharing
soon,
your screen?
oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I forgot that I'm not sharing my screen. Yeah. So, thanks, Paul.
Sure.
So, for example, week 2, as of now, it's not published, but all these elements which are within the week 2, students will not have access to these elements because they are not published. But as soon as I publish this, students will have access to everything. But if I unpublish certain elements, then students will not have access to these elements.
Yours does something different. Yours is easy just to toggle on and off. Mine is giving me this thing where, so none of them are published, including the whole module. Then when I choose to publish the module, they all become published. And if I want to unpublish each one of them, I click on it and it gives me a little window that pops up and says, you know, do you want to publish this, unpublish this? And then there are 2 other options that I ignore because I don't really care about them right now.
Do you mind if I share your screen, if I access your course and see what's going on? Is that fine?
No, not at all. That's fine. That I already went through it and did it all, but you'll see what I mean when I.
Yeah. Daniel, do you want to add anything? Daniel, your hand is raised.
I'm sorry, I forgot to lower my hand, my bad.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
I have a question.
Yes.
For Zoom meeting, when I set up from my single sign on, I find I can also set up Zoom meeting from Canvas. So what's the difference between these 2?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I was busy typing.
Okay.
Can you repeat?
Yes, I have online class. So I set up a Zoom meeting via my single sign on site.
Okay.
And then I find on Canvas, we can also set up a Zoom meeting. But when I look at my already set up the meeting link, I couldn't find. So I want to know, are those 2 sites are separate? So what's the difference between these 2?
So since so both Zoom and Canvas are synced with your SSO account. If you have set up your sessions in Zoom, the Zoom meetings, with Zoom meetings, you should have access to those meetings.
I cannot access from Canvas Zoom if I set up from single sign on Zoom, because there is direct link when you getting my CSLB, you see the Zoom link all the way
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
So I usually set up my Zoom meeting there. But Canvas, when I click a Zoom meeting, I couldn't see my Zoom meeting link.
Okay. So Dr. Ann, let me first I will take care of Professor Paul Burns'
Okay.
question. Then we will switch to yours. How about that?
Yes. Thank you.
If I could
Yeah.
clarify that.
Yeah,
So,
Sure.
well, yeah,
Thanks.
so Zoom SSO, if you create accounts or create meetings from there, you pretty much have to kind of get the link and share it with their students. But versus when you're using the Zoom within Canvas, you don't need to do that because when you create it there, it's already there. And you know, when you create the Zoom meetings, it's shown into that course, so you don't need to share it because it's there already. However, in Zoom, there's actually a settings. If you go to the Canvas Zoom, and there's a setting on the top right, you can actually add different meetings into that. But Zoom integration with Canvas Make is nice, where you could create, if you create the Zoom meetings within Canvas, it's automatically shared within the course. And what's really nice about this is that it's also added into the student's calendar. So it's a benefit of using the Zoom integration with Canvas.
So
That's
let me,
great.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because if you're just using Zoom by itself with SSO, it's still the same accounts, but because it's kind of like generic, because Zoom SSO doesn't recognize which courses it is, you would just manually share that link. So it's a little bit, there's some flexibility between one or the other, but the Zoom integration makes it where it's more seamless.
That's
so
very important information. So I already set up, so student already saved on their calendar. So in the future, I'm going to use Canvas, set up a room meeting.
Yeah, for courses, we highly recommend that. And for, one-on-one meetings or something like that, you can use Zoom SSO.
Okay, great. Thank
Sure.
you.
So question, Lem, so if the meeting that which already has been created in Zoom, they will not show up on the Canvas side, but we can initiate from Canvas, right?
Yeah, I mean, by default, it doesn't, because, when you create the SSO Zoom meeting, it doesn't recognize, what course it is, right? Obviously for that. But there's actually an option if you go to Zoom and there's the 3 dots on the right where you can import meetings, you could do that too.
On the Zoom?
Yeah,
Let
on
me do
Canvas
that.
Zoom.
Oh,
on
on
Canvas
Canvas Zoom. Okay. So let me go to my account,
Yeah.
to my course, actually, to my sandbox. So I want to demonstrate that for the faculty.
Yeah, go ahead and do that and click on meeting, and then on the far right, after the schedule a new meeting, there's that
Here?
dot, click on that and
Mhm.
go import meeting.
Oh,
And
so
then of course,
okay, so if I have created a meeting through my Zoom, I can import them here?
yes.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Thanks. Thanks, Lem.
Sure.
That's useful. Okay, so for I will switch to thanks, Lem. So I'm going to switch to Paul's question. Paul, can I impersonate you and act as you? With
Of
your
course.
permission?
Of
Okay,
course.
thank you. So I'm going to enter Canvas as Paul.
So the course that it was on was the SCED 100, and you could either do section 5 or 6, either way.
Okay, I'm going to do 5. And the issue was under the modules, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go down to, oh, no, it's up there a little bit. Sorry, not that far. Called spatial visual modules, links.
This one?
Yeah, the third one, right? So
Okay.
you can see that I've already gone through and,
And publish them.
right. So I think if you do it right now, if you unpublish that right there, yeah,
Mhm.
and now publish it again.
Oh,
Well, yeah, see how that pops up too?
editing permission for module scripted session. Publish and publish only available to students with link. Let me see what it is. Oh, these are attachments.
So is that
Maybe,
why? Because it's
yeah,
an
maybe
attachment?
that's why. So what I had,
Yeah, I see what you mean. So then
Yeah,
red
what,
was ported over.
yeah, since they are attachments.
I see. So that what it's done then is it's actually made one module instead
Mhm.
of all these other individual modules. Okay, I got it. So I
Yeah.
should separate those out into
Yes,
different
maybe.
modules,
Yeah.
and then I'd have individual control over them.
Yeah. So in
Got it.
my case, let me stop acting as you.
Real quick. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Afifa, if you go, can you impersonate Paul again? I think I saw
Sure.
something that he might. Is there, Paul, is there a reason why you enable overlay
I
in your
don't.
dashboard?
I didn't do that on purpose.
Okay, yeah, it's
So,
a common, error. So if you want to impersonate that,
It defaults
again-
to that, Lem.
what's that?
The overlay is a default.
Oh, okay. So if you look at a dashboard, go ahead and go to and turn off the overlay. It actually would be nicer. Go back to your dashboard.
Me
Yeah, go
to
back
my
to the
my dashboard.
to Paul dashboard.
Okay.
And then from there, scroll, click on that 3 dot again.
This one.
Yeah,
Okay.
and disable color overlay,
Okay.
and you can see that it's actually clearer.
what? That is so weird.
Yeah, so it's a common occurrence. So just want to point that out.
Thanks.
Okay, go ahead, Afifa.
Okay. Thanks. So let me go back to modules. Okay. Let's see. Oh, so that was a separate issue, Lim.
Yeah, that was different than this.
Okay, yeah.
I think
like,
you
how
solved
come
my you solved my issue for me, because I see that I instead of these are called modules, but they're not actually modules within
Yes.
Canvas.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They are just attachments. So these are
Right.
PowerPoints.
Right.
While mine are actual.
Yeah,
This
separate
is my
modules.
son. Yeah, mine are. These are actually Canvas tools. Other than these, but even with these, I don't have any problem. See. So I can just, for this one, yes. So if it is for some
Or
of
if it's an
them,
attachment.
yeah, if it's an attachment, it
Oh,
does that.
okay.
But if it is its own, like just create it. Canvas tool, it will not give that the second window.
That's really helpful. Thank you. There are 2 other professors that have the same issue because we all copied each other's Canvas courses. So I'll tell them. Thank you. It's
No
great.
problem. Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
I have one more question.
Yes.
My course was copied from Beachbot.
Mm-hmm.
When you migrate my course, there are some files from Beachbot, which are not related to my course content. I try to delete, and I also get on your Zoom meeting twice. So I was able to delete a subfolder, but although the folder is empty, the whole folder is still there. So when I try to look at my files, upload my files, there are many unrelated files. I just feel bothered because it's very hard to find my own files. So how to delete all that related folders?
Yeah, some of, I understand what you're saying. So when, with the migration, all the system files from Beachbot have been copied to Canvas. Lem, do you think there's a way, like workaround, Lem or Daniel?
Can you I mean,
Yeah.
can you show me which files?
Let me see, for example, if I go to my files, say, for example, template images, or so there are tons of, there are like layers of, is this what you mean, Dr. Ann?
Yes, there are not files like a picture from Beachbody, all the picture. I haven't seen that from like social study or I don't know why it's come out to my course. Like all the Beachbody features, even small icon file is there. So I try to delete all the subfolders, but still when I open file, I see many unrelated files.
Yeah, what I do, Dr. Ann, I don't bother with files at all. I don't go to files. I don't function through files. I just try to stay within modules and within the pages. So some of those pages from like useful pages from Beachboard have been moved to the pages part as well. So you can access the your useful documents and useful material under the pages. So I absolutely avoid going to the files. I don't go to files because it is confusing, because everything from Beachboard have been copied and some of them are system files and I don't want to delete them. I'm just careful not to break anything.
Right, I delete most of them. The whole file name is still there. I think I agree with it. So I uploaded some page file link, and the page link file seems related the file. So, but some is from old course. The files are useful. I still want to use. That's why I look at the files.
Yeah, so the course content, course materials that you used to use, they should be housed under the modules. Or if not, most of them are have been copied as pages under the pages index. So I would suggest to stick with pages. And if you have to go to files, I would just suggest to ignore the files that like because all system files, everything that under the file. That's why we encourage faculty. We actually recommend for faculty to hide the files from their course navigation menu, so students will not click on files and will not get overwhelmed by, or will not mess up with the course content.
Okay, I will not link with files. So new files I will use
Yeah,
Paint.
you can
Thank
link them. You can link them through the file, but I would suggest to just hide it. And that's how you can hide files. For example, if I go to settings and if I go to navigations, let me zoom in a little. So what I did, I went to setting, then from setting, I clicked navigation. And from here, the first table are the items that the student can see. And if the second table are the tools that students cannot see. It is hidden from students, but if we link it, the student can have access to these materials. So I will just drag file from the first top table to the bottom table, so students will not be able to see this. And it will be hidden from students. And as I'm making changes, I will save my changes, so it will be reflected in my course.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Hey,
Yes.
Hey, Lim, correct me if I'm wrong. I think students by default do not have access to the file section. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, the files really is for kind of like back end stuff in case if something is a little bit different. But for the most part, when you add stuff in the modules or anything like that, it actually automatically is added to the files. So I do recommend not to kind of like touch it unless something or kind of like not working correctly.
Students can't see that section. Right?
Yeah.
By default, they don't see files.
Yeah, but it's still recommended to not show it at all in the course.
To hide it, yeah.
To hide it.
Thanks. Curtis, do you have any question?
Yes, thank you. I ran the Ally course accessibility report, and it gives me a number of small things, but what's I think sort of most annoying to me is that several of them are from the things that were automatically populated by ATS in the class, as opposed to so things like the screenshot there's a screenshot that's in the information for students on how to do things. And I was just wondering if there's a way to either get those changed or, I mean, I can get them to be ignored because, but it's not my content that it's actually complaining about.
Yes. So I would suggest it's up to you if like it actually depends. If you're going to have a students with like with disability, we have to make all content accessible.
I
But if-
understand that,
Yes.
but when it's your content and not my content, I don't know what to do.
So the same. If yeah, I understand. So if
I
it
guess what I'm
is-
asking is if you guys can do it.
yeah, we can do it. Yes. Even if if we haven't done it, then if it is your content, it's the faculty's content. And if there is a student with disability, ATS with AIM Center and with the BMAC, we will work together and we will make the course content accessible. So if you ended up having a student with disabilities, please contact us and we will make sure that the content is
Great,
accessible.
okay, thanks. It's, you know, it was just confusing to have run it and then see that I don't even know what the pages are that it's citing. So it's things like, how do I check my grade? Which is not something I put in.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
No problem. Javier?
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted to kind of piggyback on what the other professor was talking about when it came to importing content. I ran into the same problem. I went ahead and I appreciate that you guys brought in all my courses from last year. That was awesome. And like you said, most of the things came in as pages, whether there were assignments on Beachboard or discussions that came in as a page. And then what I appreciated was that in Commons, you offered a course template, which was really nice because it had a homepage, you had really nice banners. So I brought in the course template and I hesitated on importing everything from my Beachboard course into my new course because there's a lot of stuff that comes in. So what I ended up doing was simply copying and pasting from my Beachboard course into my new course. And that worked out really well because when importing would have brought in way too many files and it would have been way too confusing, too many different pages. The one thing that I did run a problem into was in my media, you brought in a lot of Kaltura videos.
Yes.
And I ran into a problem trying to embed those videos into a page. So I was wondering if you guys could show everything that's in my media, which is my old Kaltura videos. How do I embed those into the RCE in a page?
RCE.
Yeah, the rich content editor in a page.
Yes. Okay. So let me go to, for example, in my modules, let me see if I have a page in here. If not, I can just go to my pages. So for example, I have my pages. I'll just go to my homepage example one, for example. And in here, I want to embed a video. So obviously I'm going to go to the edit mode and in the rich text editor, say, for example, at the end in here, I want to embed a Kaltura video. I will click on this little icon and I will click on view all and I will click embed Kaltura media. So as soon as I click it, it will ask me to authorize first.
I think that was a step I missed. I was using the other button, the media button, instead of the one you used.
Yes, no. So this way you can, so as soon as I click add from my library, it will take me to my library. And from here, whichever video I want, I can just embed.
Yes. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
No problem. And then
And
you
just
can
to
adjust.
Perfect. And just like the other professor mentioned, there were some things that didn't have path accessibility. What I noticed is some of the times it was just simply the name of the image because you need to have a caption. So I just went ahead and added that name of the image and just named it whatever I thought would be appropriate. And then it passed accessibility.
Yes.
Which content was that? I'm looking at the student quick start guide module that is included in all our courses.
The one that I ran a problem into was the one on checking your grades. The GIF wasn't really showing. There was something wrong with the file.
Mm.
So that was one of the one that I did notice brought up a problem. The checking your grades.
How do I check my grades?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm
Do you want
opening
me to
that
stop
page
sharing
now.
chat? Do you want to share?
Yeah, I want to. So it was. Do you see my screen? Do you see how I check my grade screen? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we see it.
So so are you saying that first of all, this doesn't show up at all?
It doesn't show up at all in my
In your course?
In my course. When I imported a template from Commons, in that course, it didn't show up.
So you imported this. You imported this module from Commons, correct? Student Quick
Actually,
Start module.
I actually imported the whole course, your advanced course template.
And this was included in it, correct?
Yes, correct.
Got it. Okay, so when I check it on my side, it seems okay. So we should probably check your course, especially we don't want to do it in here, but maybe come to virtual support or make an appointment with one of us so that we can look at that. If you're concerned about it, you shouldn't have to relabel all this stuff. It should be migrating over just fine. As you can see, it passes. Actually, GIFs are not supposed to pass.
Correct.
GIFs are not. We got to fix that.
Accessible.
We're going to fix that.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that's fixed. But let's also look at your course to see why it's not copying over correctly. But if you could just kind of reach out to us and let us, and maybe at the end, if we have time, we can kind of look into your course.
Chad, while you're sharing, Dr. Haluiza is asking if you can demonstrate how to provide the. Let me see. So can you demonstrate how to describe an image for accessibility, as Javier mentioned?
Yeah. Let's see, if you have the icon here, you can pop open the icon and then you can edit the image description right in there. Ally lets you do that. So the problem is if you don't have that icon description, I'm not sure, because what I find is that in some places that isn't always showing. But if it is showing, this is where you would change the, so if I back up, so you should see a little icon here. That's the Ally icon for this image. If you don't see that, then that's an issue we need to look at. But if you do see that, you click on that and you can edit the description right here. So this image passes 100% because it does have a description. Let's see if I can look at another. Let's see, I can show you one that, so I have an item in here that doesn't pass. So if I click that, it'll show this image is missing a description. So if I put a description in here, I'll just gonna do this for now and add that. It fixes it like that. So that's kind of the beauty of Ally. It's a little more difficult if we don't have the Ally attached to it. But let's see.
So Elizabeth is asking, is there another way to access those descriptions besides the Ally icon? So
I'm looking at right now. I'm kind of blanking. So let me poke around for a second. And
sure.
I'll get back to that.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and focus. But as soon as so yeah, Chad is right. So I have done this before too. So as soon as I upload a PDF document or an image, if it is not accessible, Canvas will, the Ally within the Canvas will, it will warn me if it is not accessible or not. So if it's accessible, it's good. If not, it will came with the gear, like either it would be yellow or red, saying it is totally not accessible, or it's somehow a little like to a degree it's accessible. By clicking on the gear, you can access to the accessibility issue, and you can see what is the issue. And Ally actually gives you walks you through the steps of making the content accessible. If you have difficulty, I know accessibility is not like an easy topic. Feel free, you guys can send an email to us, or you can join the virtual support and ask for an ID. We can join and walk you through the steps and fix the issue.